Hey, what's up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today I'm going to show you how to close out a Dota match when you get ahead. We're going to be watching the Wraith King of Nobito, and let's get into it. Also, I want to tell you guys that if you've been struggling with solo queue and you're looking to get to the next rank, I'm going to be able to help you. Like, literally, with the gameleap website, I'm going to give you guys guides that are going to make it unbelievably clear on what you need to do. So if you've been stuck in the solo queue grind, you don't know what to do, and you want to become absolutely broken, but like actually you want to become much better at Dota, and you want to take it more seriously, the gameleap website is going to help you do that. So click the link down below, I'm going to help you get to the next rank, and I'll see you there. Alright, starting from this clip here, we're 18 minutes into the game. His team has a 4k net worth lead and a pretty significant tower lead. Right, the enemy team has yet to take the mid tier 1, which is always a huge, kind of staple of a good winning Dota game. If you manage to keep your mid tier 1 up for this long, it's very unlikely the enemy team is going to be able to invade your jungle at any point in the game. Until they take this, it's very unlikely they're going to be able to split push very effectively, as you're going to have a ton of TP options and very aggressive TP options. And even when your team dies, it's extremely easy and quick for them to be able to get out onto the map due to the fact there's a tier 1 tower. So in games that are like this, when you're playing them, what do you need to do? Well, the first thing you need to identify is, what does your hero do? Okay, is your hero the hunter? Or is your hero the wave shover? Because when you're ahead, the average player, what they do is either siege a tower or hunt heroes. However, the biggest one that they miss is arguably the most important role, which is the wave shover. Now, he kind of takes multiple roles this game. With a blink dagger on him, he can be the hunter. With skeletons, he can be the wave shove hero and tower pressure hero, so he can do everything. Now, his Lina is already clearing out the bot side of the map, so you can see this is a clear high MMR game because the players do not have a fear of splitting up. On top of that, he's also going to want to take the most aggressive position on the map, as he has 2 lives. So you might be wondering, what is the most aggressive portion of the map? Well, considering they have a ward here and a ward here, clearly the most aggressive portion of the map that they can play is the triangle. The most aggressive portion of the map that you can play will generally revolve around the towers that you want to take, right? This top tier 2, this mid tier 2, this tower has already been taken. And primarily, this is the major thing, the wards you have. So as he's playing the top side of the map here, and they're going to look for a quad kill, right? But as he's playing the top side of the map, this is primarily going to be him essentially playing around this vision. The next thing you want to not do to close out games is dive the tier 2, okay? I obviously mention this in every video, but as we watch this clip here, watch Nobito's decision making. He jumps to quap, they're going to lead in, cancels the stun, good decision. Unfortunately, a really good play by the Skywrath to actually silence the shaman, prevents the follow chain stun onto the quap. Nobito actually ends up chasing the Skywrath here, and I even want to say that I think this in and of itself is a mistake. I think once you don't catch the Skywrath right here, you should turn around, disengage, and expect the TPs. In your average pub, it's going to be the exact same thing. If you dive a tier 2, this is going to be the situation where the enemy team will try to take a 5-on-5. Now, if you want to get to the next level, you will listen to me now. Okay, if you dive here, you go for a kill at a tower, and it doesn't work out. You're going to get TPs, right? Enemy team's going to TP. If you back off and farm the remainder of the map, when this happens, you will win the game. Okay, right here he backs off. Look at the enemy team's map control now. They all TP in to try to take this fight. They see it as their opportunity back into the game, except for the Medusa. This guy has a good discipline. Shout out Dusa, right? Arguably he could have TP'd, but he's the Medusa. Look, they're all here. Night Stalker's TPing in. They're all here. They're closed in. I think they end up taking this fight because the enemy team wildly overchases, which was kind of shocking to see. But I want you guys to get the point. If you don't dive the tower and the enemy team doesn't chase, just go farm. You're winning the game. Split the map, go farm, and take control of the portion of the map that the enemy team just left. On top of that, the best outcome is what we see here from Nobito. And if you actually are disciplined enough to do this when you were the frontline initiator, when you were the leader of your team, you'll be able to set up good fights. The Primal Beast way overextends, and that sets up for this ridiculously easy engagement where the Primal Beast goes down right off the bat, and they, I think, eventually kill off the Quap on the back line. The Medusa ends up getting kited. He nearly finds the Night Stalker on the edge, and it's just an overall very solid engagement. After that fight ends, let's take a look at what he does. The first thing that he does is he looks to take this tier 2 tower. It's now free, there's no diving, there's no defense, so this is the perfect time to take the tower. After that, his Lina is going to immediately TP bottom. I do want to put a little bit of emphasis on understanding that yes, the Lina is the bots hero this game. If you're playing a hero like Nature's Prophet, or you have a bots hero, or you're just mobile for one reason or the other, maybe you're a Slark at nighttime, then you can split the map and should split the map when the fight ends. Because if you're the fastest hero on your team with the best wave clear, you can take the most dangerous and the furthest farm away from your team and then reconnect with them very quickly. As a Wraith King, you're not going to really want to do this most of the time. On top of that, Nubito makes what I would call the weirdest play of this game, but let's talk about it. This is fascinating to me. He actually TPs out of top and hits neutrals. Yeah, you're hearing this correctly. He actually TPs out of top and hits neutrals. So why would he do this? Why in the world would Nubito hit neutral creeps? Why in the world is he drawing on the map to his team, hey guys, take the outpost and clear the bot wave? Why is he doing this? Because when you get ahead, you need to watch your timings. He doesn't have Reincar. They don't have Dragonite ult. Why in the world did they play up on the map? The enemy team, yeah, they don't have nighttime, so you could argue that. I will admit that if you wanted to make an argument for why they should fight anyway, it's absolutely the lack of Night Stalker ulti. But that is it. That is a big point, but that is it. However, obviously Reincarnation is a big freaking deal. On top of that, Dragonite without ulti is honestly kind of trash for the most part. So instead, he jungles, okay? Do I always recommend doing this? No, not necessarily, but he's not the wave clear hero of this game. Can he be? A little bit with skeletons, but he definitely doesn't have to be. He has a Lina, he has a DK, he has a Shaman. You know, he's plenty of heroes that can do that for him. And so instead, he's going to look to just kind of maximize farm and be comfortable with doing this. Now, I don't want you guys to jungle all game. I just want you to understand when you lack abilities because you just used it to win a team fight, if those abilities are required to win the team fight, I know this sounds obvious, but if they're required to win the team fight, then you need to chill for a bit and don't be afraid to just take some, safe farm. Next up, we're gonna see Nubito push his limits in the top lane. He understands that this game, the enemy team has very little interest in jumping him, especially when you start to get to this like 7 to 15k net worth lead. Obviously you might be like, how do I know when I'm that far ahead? You kind of just got to get a vibe based on what the enemy team is doing. If they're not fighting, if they're not grouped up ever, and they're just splitting the map, you probably can assume that you should push your limits more in the side lanes as you're unlikely to be, ganked by 2 or 3 heroes at the same time. And when you're an overfarmed Wraith King, that's what's needed to kill you, right? And so he's going to push in top as far as he can, uses skeletons to shove it out. And then he actually is going to TP bottom here. So clearly he feels that, okay, with top fully shoved in and the Medusa and Skywrath showing, if he TPs bottom, he can actually close down the remainder of the map, right? And you need to be a little bit careful about committing TP like this. If you're going to commit TP like this, there's 2 things you have to do. Number 1, you have to notify your team that you're TPing away from them and that the enemy team might jump them. And, well, the second point was, yeah, that the enemy team might jump them, okay? If the enemy team can jump them, you need to be ready to connect. And so, fortunately, they have a ward here, and the Medusa is still showing, so I don't think he feels pressured to connect at all, but that's another adjustment you have to make. You need to pay attention. Is the enemy team potentially running at my team, right? Are they not showing, which could mean that they're smoked? Or do we see them running at my team, and do I need to just run over? These are big, big deals. On top of that, once again, you can see he wants his team to cut across. Look at the lines he's drawing on the map. This is why this is such a fantastic replay. We can literally exactly see what he's thinking. He's shoving in the bottom side of the map, clears up this wave, and he draws to his team cut across. He wants them to cut across. Why? Because when you shove in one wave bottom, it's very likely someone's going to TP bottom, right? To get that farm, to defend the tower. And then, if you cut across from the bottom to the top side of the map, you're likely to bump into someone. And this is exactly what you should do in your pups. Bring the TPs to a side lane, right? Even here, they have the skeletons of the Wraith King, and they have the Serpent Wards of the Shaman, and they're kind of just trying to say to the enemy team, hey, you got to make a decision here. You're either going to clear this bottom Serpent Wards and Snakes, and you have to leave top, right? And the enemy team doesn't want to leave top, right? The reason why they don't want to leave top, why? Well, that's where they can farm. his team is bottom. Nubito's team is bottom. They don't want to get stuck bottom, right? They don't want to be bottom. They don't want to be defending bottom tier 3. Why? Because a good team, good set of players will just back off now and farm the entirety of the map. Look what he's going to do now. Now that he knows that there's a good amount of heroes bottom, he's going to cut through to the top side of the map. Once again, drawing a line. He's like, hey, look mid, look for a kill mid, look for a kill top. They're going to go into the quap here. Unfortunately, barely don't finish her off. They do end up baiting in the Primal Beast though. They take him out, and I think this ends up just being a super net positive fight, as eventually he gets a stun onto the Night Stalker. They take him out, and now I think this Medusa gets 4-staffed, you know. But it ends up being a really, really good fight overall. And you could see what is the main difference between him and the average player. He baits heroes bottom. He baits heroes to this bottom tier 3. He's very fast about it, right? He baits them to this bottom tier 3, backs up, and looks for a kill outside of the base. One of the biggest downsides of Wraith King in particular, even though this isn't a Wraith King video, I think it's an important point, is that your hero has no disengage. So if you go high ground, you're kind of screwed, right? Unless you are so strong that they can't get you off the tower, it's most likely that you're going to get your reincarnation burned on their high ground, and they're going to respawn with 1 life and no good way to disengage. That is definitely not what you want. And so basically we're going to see a rinse repeat of this idea. I'm just going to stress it one more time. You want to push in one lane and then look to cut across. This cut across can come in from 2 ways. Literally running across, or smoking across the map, right, from one side to the other, or TPing across to look for a pickoff. But if you don't clear the waves before you do this, your team will not only lose the farm battle, you're also going to lose your vision and map control, which will allow you to force the enemy team back by dropping Serpent Wards, Skeletons, whatever spell onto the high ground, even just hitting it. Alright, next up and finally is Roshan. When you get ahead, Roshan is your best friend. Why? Because if they contest you, you fight them. And if they don't fight you, they don't contest you, you get Roshan. Roshan is the best objective in the game, for the winning team in particular, right? I cannot stress this enough. It is the best objective in the game when you are winning the game, right? Because if they don't come, you get Rosh. If they come, you get a fight outside of their base, right? What happens here? Well, exactly that. Exactly that. The enemy team has to take a fight outside of their base at an 8k gold deficit, and you know what happens? The Quap gets caught, right? Because they have vision set up, they have hero set up, the enemy team doesn't, and now Nobito gets the perfect jump onto a Skywrath mage. The fight's over. Quap is out, Skywrath dies solo to the Wraith King, it's the perfect initiation, and the fight is over. This all stems from a Roshan call, and the willing decision to never go high ground into a Skywrath, into a Medusa, into a Quap. You don't want to go high ground into heroes like Medusa. It's just brutal, right? It's just brutal. Especially when you're playing a hero like Wraith King, who kind of just sucks at going high ground. Alright, and that's going to be all for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you learned quite a bit about how to close out the match. Hopefully I've inspired you to have a little bit of patience. Now, I know a lot of you guys are going to just basically, I can already hear the comments, just like, Speed, this shit doesn't work in my bracket because people don't listen, blah, 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 blah. If you want to stay low rank, you won't listen to me and you'll just assume that your team sucks and that they're going to go high ground no matter what. A large portion of high ground attempts people don't even realize is literally because of them. Even if they think they shouldn't go high ground, they'll stick around, they'll give their team a false sense of security, they won't use the get back command, and they're just not even, like, they won't even farm. It's like, you're not forcing pressure to different lanes, you're not communicating that you don't want to go high ground. Sometimes you are, and I know people are going to nitpick one of the things that they are doing in this list and be like, I am doing that, Speed, I am doing that. Guys, just listen to what I'm saying. The idea of letting the enemy team leave their base, which can come through Roshan or just simple patience, works. Low MMR players will always leave the base. They will get bored. They don't know any better. Let them make the mistake. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and I'm out. Peace.
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the GameLeap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.